I wonder, how do I get a job in Finland? If you're wondering how to get a job in Finland, you're in the right place because that's the topic we're discussing today. Welcome to Couple of Expats. My name is Megha, and on this channel, we talk about living, studying, and working in Finland. You clicked on this video so you know that we are going to talk about job searching tips for international job seekers in Finland. And today we have a special guest for you. We have Reena Jha, who is a talent acquisition specialist, joining us. So let's dive right in. Welcome, Reena, to Couple of Expats. We're so happy that you're able to join us today.
Thank you so much, Megha, for inviting me. Really excited about our conversation today.
Me too. So if you could please introduce yourself to the audience, we would love to know what brought you to Finland, how long have you been living here, and a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, happy to share. So I'm Reena. I'm a talent acquisition specialist. Currently, I work as a recruitment and career advisor with Get Hired in Finland. I have over 9 years of experience in talent acquisition across different industries, but past few years, my focus has been on tech recruitment. My journey started in Finland little over 7 years ago. I followed my spouse because he landed a project here, and that's how we joined as a family together.
So I must ask, how do you feel about the current Finnish job market?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Current market has been really different, very dramatic for past 1.5, 2 years. But in general, also, Finnish job market is like running a marathon and not a sprint.
I love the analogy.
Yeah, because you see, when you are running for a marathon, you need a lot of preparation in the background. You plan ahead, and it's a journey that you actually have to plan. So you need to be positive, resilient, open-minded, and adaptable. And all these kind of skills is required when you are actually looking for a job in Finland, because it is time-taking, and you really need to prepare yourself and prepare for maybe what you're looking, and then do your own research, but also keeping an open mind and positive attitude can actually come a long way.
Yeah, and I think anyone who has run a marathon knows that you don't wake up that same morning and say, I'm going to run a marathon. It's something that you put months of work in advance.
Absolutely.
And the same applies for the Finnish job market. Your chances are going to be much higher if you have already put in the work before starting to run.
Exactly. So you're well said that how it is with marathon, and exactly it is similar with the job search as well in Finland.
So I'm sure the viewers of this video are looking for a new job in Finland, and they would love to hear your thoughts on how they can maximize their chances of finding a job. So what would be your first tip for our audience?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And my first and one of the most important tip would be to cover your bases. When I say cover your bases, I mean doing the planning and kind of understanding a few important things, how different it is in Finnish job market, because it's very different how it is at least back home in my country. So for me to first even think about looking for a job, it's very important to understand these differences. It could be cultural differences or how different the Finnish work culture is, right? And there are a few things like punctuality, for one, is one of the most important thing to keep in mind. And then there is individuality, direct communication,
do's and don'ts, things that you don't necessarily do in Finland, but you might be doing back home in India. That's very important to not raise any red flags.
Absolutely.
Not get on the wrong side of the recruiter, maybe.
Yes. So knowing these, you're already kind of covering your bases in a way. You're applying these nuances already from your job search and not just after landing a job in the work practice. So I think this is a major gap as well that I see in a lot of job seekers. So I would say this is one of the most important area to cover to begin with.
So the applicant should cover their bases. What's next?
So when I say applicants should cover their bases, it also means that next step is to really make a thorough research about the job market. It's not just the job market, but also the industry that you're targeting. It involves planning and researching the job market, the industry that you are looking to, kind of roles that are available in the kind of role that you are targeting to. So basically, everything comes down to research as well.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it goes hand in hand. So it goes together. And also in the current job market, when there are easily 100+ applicants for one position, if you haven't done that first stage, the likelihood of getting to the next stage, which is obviously you want to be invited to the interview, I think it goes down, your chances of getting it called goes down a lot if you haven't done the basics, because simply if you haven't, someone else has.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So it makes a lot of difference. And it shows that you have done research. It clearly shows in your job application, in your cover letter, the way you're approaching the whole process itself. So it definitely shows at every step.
Yeah. And it answers, are you prepared?
Absolutely.
So in a increasingly competitive job market, when there are 100+ applicants, what do you suggest that one should do to actually be able to stand out?
Yeah, that's another great question. I would say it's quality over quantity, because we all have this urge to try and apply for every role, especially when we are desperate. We think that, okay, this role is interesting, I might be a good fit, but we don't know, are you a good fit? So and that's when this quality over quantity kind of matters, and it also shows in your application. So I would say, when I say quality over quantity, what do I really mean by that as well? I mean that please analyze the job. How much are you really matching to the role? And based off that, then you are actually working towards aligning your CV and cover letter to the role that you're targeting, and not just sending same CV and cover letter to every other role. So yeah, that's very important as well. And I always stress that please don't send same application to 10 jobs, but customize and send 2 application to 2 jobs that aligns best to you, and the likelihood or the chances of getting invited for the interview is really high.
I definitely understand that quality and quantity, these can be a little bit challenging, because the applicant might want to apply in many different places, but at the end of the day, it's quality that gets you results.
Yes.
So what else?
So when we say quality, it means that your application is really targeted. And that's my next tip. So sending out really customized and targeted cover letter and CVs.
So customizing.
Yes. Also, when I say customizing, before that, there is one task that as a job seeker we need to do, that you have to analyze to what extent are you a good fit for this role, because that can lead you to kind of really customizing your CV and cover letter if you are a good match. So analyze the job and see how much are your skills and your experience are matching. Based off that, customize your CV with the relevant experiences that is required for the role. And then when we talk about customization of the cover letter, it means you're customizing your motivation for that particular role, for that particular company or that particular industry. Why are you genuinely motivated?
Yeah, I think that makes perfect sense. And I think also in the past, when Chris and I, whatever CVs and cover letters we have sent out, what we've tried to pay attention to are the details that are in the job vacancy itself, and cross-referencing that to our own skills. Now, some skills will be more relevant than others. So you can maybe see that, okay, this is the skill that would be most relevant for this job application, and highlight that maybe in your cover letter, maybe draw attention to that, because you don't have to be a complete match, 100% match with the job vacancy. I don't think that's always necessary, but it is necessary to have definitely some of the things that they're looking for, and that would make you basically suitable. Otherwise, what Reena just said, it's not targeted enough if you don't qualify any of the job vacancy descriptions.
Yes, absolutely. And you well said that picking out the right keywords and then kind of bringing it into your CV. You might have various experiences, but the most important thing is that you show your relevant experience to the role that you're targeting to.
Very good discussion so far. And what is tip number 5?
Networking. So, although it's very broad and it sounds super nice or super easy at some time, but what exactly it means when we say networking? My understanding to that is it's like sowing a seed and waiting for the plant to grow. So you don't see the result overnight, right? So once you sow a seed, you try to nurture it, you give it all the necessary things that is required for a healthy plant to grow from time to time, and you wait, right? And then finally, once you nurture it, you see the result. I think networking is very similar. Nothing results overnight. It's an investment that you do today, and then it can lead to something down the line. However, when I say networking, it's again very broad, but then few principles that I think we should always keep in mind when you're networking is don't do networking because of some expectation. Like you don't expect anything instantly.
Yeah.
If you're open-minded and if you're connecting with somebody with open mind, it can definitely lead to something. But then, don't go to networking or don't connect with somebody immediately asking for something. That's not the, best way to network.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think people might not like it if you just meet someone immediately and ask them for something. I think as human beings, that's not really the best way to move forward.
Yeah.
But if you just genuinely get to know each other, build a human connection, I think that has much more impact than asking something from someone that you just met.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think also I've heard this from a lot of job seekers when we suggest that, okay, how is your networking going? We hear that, okay, I have sent connection requests to so many people, but nobody has accepted. Or then, okay, somebody accepted and then I sent my CV. So I say them, I want to stop you here because this is not networking. Just connecting with somebody on LinkedIn and sending them CV or your cover letter doesn't mean that it is a meaningful connection. When we say networking, it means you are able to make a meaningful connection in a way that you have a rapport with that person. And in future, if something comes up, that person should be able to think about you. That, okay, I know somebody who could be a good fit, right? So this is the way of approach, especially as a job seeker. If you are kind of connecting with somebody, learn more about that person, learn more about the industry that person is working in, or gain some insights and try to build that rapport and connection. Eventually, it will lead to something for sure, because there's a saying, one thing lead to another. So that's how also, networking goes.
Absolutely.
And maybe just one tip if I can give also, because again, as I said, networking is very broad and often people think, where do I start? So to narrow it down, you can use online platform, which is LinkedIn, to connect with professionals, but also whom to connect. So I would recommend that connect with people from your own profession to begin with, because they are the most likely, the most relevant connection that you can make in the beginning. And then apart from that, meet people in person as much as possible. So attend relevant events, attend community events, and talk to people and make connections.
Yes, it's great that you brought up networking. And I think networking is not only relevant for job seekers, but for all of us, especially as internationals in Finland, even as a professional, as an entrepreneur. I think networking plays a really important part. And I know actually that you also have your own business. So if you would like to tell a little bit about how has it been running a business in Finland for you?
Yeah, great point. And thank you for bringing it up. So I started my art journey a little over 4 years ago now. So I am, along with being a talent acquisition specialist, I'm also a mandala artist. I'm doing this for a little over 4 years now, as I said. Although I have a bit of background in art from my childhood, like trying out different art practices, but somehow mandala stuck with me. I started exploring this mandala art, and then slowly I realized that this is one art form that is very meditative in a way when you're practicing yourself, but also as a viewer when you're seeing it. So, and I felt that there is absolutely no one at that point who's doing this art. And then because it also
In
has
Finland.
this in Finland,
Yes.
yes. And it is very close to me because I felt that it has roots. Being an Indian, mandala has originated from India, Asia, and you can see also in Buddhist culture and everything. So kind of instantly connected to this art form.
So if anyone doesn't know what mandala art is, do you want to show them so that they can see what is actually mandala art that we've been talking about?
Yeah, absolutely. I have one here to share. So this is one of the art that I've created in 2020. I have named this Metsa, which means forest, mainly because of the color and the intricacy that this art has. Basically, the original mandala art are usually in this circular form, and then it starts from a central point and then it goes in layers. It also represents your phases of life. And then the word mandala itself is derived from the Sanskrit word mandala, which also means universe. So it has really deep connection, and I got connected because it has this roots, Indian roots to this. And then I thought, why not kind of create more awareness about this art here in Finland as well, because not everybody knows.
So back to job searching. Do you feel like internationals struggle to adjust to the Finnish working environment in your experience of working with internationals?
That's a very good question again, Megha. But I think it's not that they struggle, but then certainly there's a bit of reluctance as to how they kind of come in. So again, I would say to really equip themselves beforehand, my recommendation would be to, do the research, cover your bases, but then how do you even do the research, right? That's the bigger question, because everybody's saying over and over again that do your research before doing anything, but then where do they also start? Well, it can start from their own employment. Like we have a lot of people, especially from India, who come here on their project basis. So I think these companies have their own way of supporting them, and then they have a lot of resources which they share internally to their employees that helps them to equip. I think somewhere if employees are able to take it seriously and really spend some time in kind of understanding it more deeply, that would be helpful. But on the other hand, for people who are directly moving here, I think still there are a lot of resources and a lot of materials available at different communities. There are a lot of communities as well who are like supporting in this journey of transition, and then helping the people who relocate to kind of integrate. So there are a lot of integration support, a lot of communities that support in these challenges of cultural differences and how to overcome that, or understanding at the first place.
Yeah, and if they are facing challenges, then there are a lot of ways to get help if one requires.
Absolutely. Yes.
So what kind of jobs are there a demand for in Finland?
There has quite a lot of demand for, say, healthcare practitioners, nurses, early childhood education, teachers, people who work in construction side, and also a few specialist roles. And on the specialist side, maybe if I can emphasize a bit, due to changing landscape, the upcoming trend is cybersecurity, AI and machine learning, quantum computing, data. So these are the areas that has demand all the time here in Finland, and at least 2025 looks really positive for specialist roles in these areas as well.
Very good. I know that our audience will keep that in mind, and that could be a helpful start for someone. Maybe that matches already what some people are looking for, or know what to expect. So, Reena, how does the Finnish language requirements differ between these different professions, especially for internationals who might be interested?
That's a very good point. Actually, specifically on the IT side, it might be a kind of a less requirement. But on the other, areas that I just spoke about, definitely Finnish is big plus and then kind of a big requirement. And then nevertheless, I'm a big advocate of, integrating early to the society, which actually starts with learning the language, for instance. So anybody who loves living here and really see them living here for a long time, they should start learning Finnish, at least in some possible way, or to their capacity, because it's never too late to learn a language, and that's one of the best way to integrate, actually.
Okay, so we are just touching upon the subject of cover letters and CVs because this topic can go on for very long. So I just want to ask you, is there any winning trends that you have noticed among the best cover letters and CVs?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think one of the most important thing that stands out is like clear, concise, and relevant CV and cover letters. So just follow these two C's and one R principle. Secondly, in the application process, there is always this optional field where you can maybe attach something extra, which is not like mandatory, but then it can be your video introduction, or it can be your portfolio, or anything that is relevant to the role. So if as an applicant, I am taking that extra step and making that extra effort to create something and then attach, that will definitely stand out, because not 100 applicants are doing it, because it's a lot of energy and effort, but there are only 5 who's doing, and then it immediately catches attention.
Yeah.
So this is something to think about, and it also kind of shows your initiative and being proactive. So it says a lot with that one extra step. Maybe last point I would like to add is like in quite many application or job advertisements, there is a contact person's details mentioned. It could be their phone numbers, and there's also a specific time and date which is mentioned, and they say that, okay, if you have any questions, you can reach out, or them you can send an email. Not everybody reaches out to them. So my advice is like, reach out to them. They have given a time. That means they are willing to answer your questions, right? And then when you reach out again, do some research, really thoroughly understand the role, and ask some good questions which is relevant to the role. But not the same questions that is already there in the job advertisement. So really important questions which you don't see in the job advertisement, but that can help you to understand the role better. And this way,
don't also just say hi.
Hi. No, that doesn't work. So this way, asking the good questions can really help you stand out, because then the recruiter or the person whom you're calling, they remember your name. Okay, this person made an extra effort to call me, and I spoke to this person for a few minutes. He had really good questions. Let me look back and see his or her experience, so it really helps a lot.
Yeah. And all of it is a game to stand out.
Exactly.
Especially when you're 1 in 100 or 1 in 200, then I think it becomes, what can you do to be different?
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you, Reena, so much for joining us today. I think when you're a job applicant, one of the things that you really wish for is to get advice from someone who is doing talent acquisition, because you really hear from the lion's mouth that what it is that you need to do to stand out, what is it that you need to do to get the job. So I really think that this is very valuable for viewers to learn from you, an experienced talent acquisition specialist, and I am so glad that we were able to have you here with us today.
Thank you so much, Megha. Thank you for the opportunity to share some insights. Whatever I've shared here, these are from my own experiences and also practical tips that actually works. It comes from my experience again. So thank you so much for having me here and giving me this opportunity to share the real tips and tricks. And I really hope most of the audience finds it helpful and beneficial for their own job search. Yeah,
I'm sure they will. And for job seekers, if you're interested to connect with Reena, we will leave her LinkedIn profile in the description of the video. And good luck to all of the job seekers. I wanted to hear 5 tips from Reena, but to be honest, I think it was way closer to 10 tips. So I hope you found a lot of valuable and actionable tips from this discussion together with her. If you have enjoyed this video, remember to hit a thumbs up button and subscribe to our channel about life in Finland for more videos like this one. Thank you so much for watching. If you do want to connect with Reena, we've left her link in the description box below. And that's it for today, and see you next time.